Alright, hello, welcome back. One more thing. If you've been watching the last few videos, we've been talking about the spitting incident with the NFL opening game with the Eagles and Cowboys, yeah? And I showed you all the references back to the Future 3 with the Cowboys, okay? And what we have going on here in the background, I thought I better just explain this as well. What's super interesting about this is the clock tower here. The clock tower, as they refer to it, okay, which is essentially the Temple of Diana, okay, it's essentially the system of governance, yeah, in a otherwise maybe fairly lawless society, as we see with the Wild West, okay. Yeah, it wasn't really completely lawless, but this is the kind of ideas that are put forward. Anyway, this is the creation of the clock tower. Right now, Mad Dog and his gang are just about to string Marty up from the clock tower. Okay, but this thing is not running yet. Okay, the clock has not started. We're going to see later on in so this is the 3rd of September, I believe, in this particular point in the film. And on the 5th of September, we're going to see the town festival where they celebrate starting the clock running. Okay, and then we see the famous picture of Doc and Marty with the 8-8 on the clock. Actually, if you go to that scene where they take that picture, if you slow it down and watch the minute hand, it actually changes to the number 9 as well when they take the picture. When when the clock's running, so to speak, and Doc and Marty take the 88 picture with the clock, which is kind of interesting with Jalen Carter's numbers as well, matching up with the 8-9, the same as the Queen, the 98, sorry, whichever way around it is. And also on the clock the starting time on the clock with Marty and Doc in the background, we see that 8-9 referenced again. I'd probably start the clock at 8 o'clock, and 80 is also referenced with Doc owing Mad Dog $80. Okay. Anyway, this is the birth. It's not quite there yet. This thing is under construction. So this is what we would refer to as being still maybe in the cradle. Okay. Notice that the framework, the framing around the outside of this, the scaffolding, is forming the cradle, the cat's cradle, with all the zigzags here. So the cradle is around this thing right now, okay? Now, what is fascinating is that the game that the Cowboys played was against the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah? And again, I mentioned in that previous video, Marty is Jesus Christ, JC, Jalen, Carter, JC, Jesus Christ, okay, and Horace, the eagle, yeah, it's where the term hours comes from in the day, because of the sun going across the sky, yeah, every hour it's moving, okay. So we have this connection back with time and time beginning with Marty, and that whole spit scene earlier on here. It's just so. I mean, the more I think about it, the more it just makes so much sense. And that they played the game in Philadelphia, yeah. And Philadelphia is what is known for the. Let's got it up here. Where did they sign the Declaration of Independence? In Philadelphia. I don't know why I wrote it like that, but anyway. Yeah, the Declaration of Independence was signed in Philadelphia because it was the home of the Second Congressional Continental Congress. Okay. So anyway, what does it say down here? Blah blah blah. Making Philadelphia the cradle of liberty. Okay. Now, what's important about this? Yes. Here's Independence Hall. What is it? It is a clock tower, Okay, it's a clock tower. It's a clock tower. Oh dear, my oh my. Clock tower, clock tower, the birthplace of liberty. Okay, so this is again extremely ominous, because what the system we have right now is getting to the point of, we can see the oppressiveness of it raising up, and it's already extremely oppressive, because if you look at the level of taxation there is right now and how they apply taxes, and the fraud that is committed with the appropriation of taxes, and it is true fraud, it's true language fraud. So with all that going on, again, what was the reason for supposedly for the US becoming a free country, or its own independent country? Why? We're always told it's because of taxes, because of taxation, because of unfair taxation. Again, we are at that point and beyond it right now, and there has to be a reset. There's always a reset, and that's what's so dodgy about the whole situation right now, is the fact that you just cannot print money out of thin air forever. At some point that has to come to an end. The people that run the world know that. They know that they can't just carry on doing that forever. You can't just have constant growth, yeah? At some point you have to pull that growth back down, you have to destroy everything and then restart again. It's the natural order of things. Anyway, that's the situation where we're at right now, I believe. And again, this whole thing, the idea of this whole thing starting over again, and this thing is in the cradle of it's in the infancy of its, it's in its beginning point here. Okay. Oh dear, Marty's going to be hung on it. Yeah, that's the ritual. 44 is to do with death and resurrection, just as 33 is to do with death and resurrection. Okay, so again, this is super duper interesting. Super duper interesting. Anyway, I thought I'd better just mention this. Independence Hall, the clock tower. The clock tower. Okay? Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.